in the
Hello guys, welcome to Med Scientist Reacts, and today we're going to react to a video from one of my favorite channels, heretics.clips, called The Psychology Behind Why the Woke Left Can't Win Arguments by Melanie Phillips. Now this is a very good video. This is a very good topic actually, because this is something that has been perplexing me for a long time. I see a lot of debates between the left and the right, between men. I see a lot of debates just in general. And this is one of the topics that always confuses me. Why is the left always so confident? But the facts are always, it's a lot of the time, the facts are either wrong or missing in a lot of the cases. Now, this is a video that claims to explain that. That's from without any other delays. Let's continue.
idea that the kind of person in general, of course, who wants to become or has aspirations to be a politician. Do you think there's something in the idea that the kind of person in general, of course, who wants to become or has aspirations to be a politician, a human rights lawyer at the UN, a journalist, might be something of a box ticker? And very, don't want to think outside of their box and will just continue the status quo?
I think it's much worse than that. If it was only box ticking, then one could sort of, liberate them from the box. They really, really, really believe, and I know this because I was one of them once. They really believe that to be a progressive is to be on the moral high ground. Why? Because to be able.
Just my take on this. This sounds very true. There is always an element of I am morally correct, not factually correct, but morally correct in all cases. And this is a very harmful state of mind to be in. To always think that you are correct, especially morally, will usually get you in the wrong situations. It will usually get you on the wrong side of history. For example, even Hitler thought he was on the moral side of history. He thought he was helping his people by killing other people. A lot of people in history who led many massacres, who led many killings, thought they were on the right side of morality. No one ever gives in to being evil. People always think they're the right person. They are the ultimate source of truth.
Progressive means you believe in things like the brotherhood of man. You believe in doing stuff to get rid of prejudice and war and bigotry, and you are anti-racist, and you believe in the power of reason. This is what you tell yourself. And consequently, anybody who comes along and says, well, actually, you're completely wrong, and far from actually ushering in an age of reason, you are ushering in an age of irrationality for these reasons. You support, the Palestinians, but in fact, this is what they are doing. They preach hatred and death to Jews the whole time.
Now, this is a big topic on the left nowadays, which is very confusing to why they are on the side of Palestine a lot of the time. I know people have been killed in Palestine. This is a very deep topic, and it's not as black and white as it may seem. But Palestine is not really for the left. The left is for Palestine. If the left were to even try to be in Palestine, they would be on the wrong side. They would be the evil guys if they would try to push their ideas onto Palestine. Palestine is a very Islamic place. They believe in Islamic laws, in Sharia laws. They have their own culture, they have their own beliefs. And those beliefs do not align with leftist beliefs, with progressivism, with liberalism, with leftism. They don't align with those ideas. Now, the alliance between them, I feel, it's one of the most unusual alliances that I've seen in my lifetime, that we've seen in this lifetime actually, because it's aligning two enemies to fight one enemy, but the one enemy would be more likely on the left. The Jews would be more likely on the side of the left than the Palestinians would be.
This is what you're supporting. So here's that evidence, or here is the evidence of, anything that's against a left-wing ideology. And they will say, and I know this is how they think, they will say to themselves, well, Well, they may say to themselves, I kind of thought that a bit because I can see this evidence. And I thought, can that be true? And then I realized that it's coming from people who are on the right. And therefore, it cannot be true because anybody who's on the right is against human flourishing, is a really bad person.
As I was saying, the idea of always thinking that you are morally correct in spite of despite of the facts being told is a very dangerous state because you won't listen to the other side. If you label someone as evil, I talked about this in a video before. If you label someone as evil, it doesn't matter what they do or say. That's why even if people like on the right, like Donald Trump, if he says something, it doesn't matter what he said. What he said is bad. It doesn't matter if he said we should save children from getting cancer. It doesn't matter what he said. It matters who said it. They will be angry at him saying even the nicest things, even the best things in the world. They will still get angry because they've already labeled him as evil, despite what he says or what he does. Okay, so this is a very dangerous state of mind. It will lead you into the dark. It will lead you into a place where you feel like you're a god, like you can decide people's futures, and you have the right to do whatever you want. That's what's leading to things like political assassinations, things like even starting the wars, like the jihadist wars. These people thinking that they are morally superior to others.
They are not for the betterment of humanity. They're selfish. They are.
Like I was talking about the jihadists, more like even October 7th was led to this. It was led to by the Palestinians feeling that we are morally correct, despite of what we are doing. We are on the right side. They may have been wronged in the past, and I believe that they have been wronged at some point in history, at other points in history. But that doesn't justify going to kill innocent people. Just as the Israel is doing right now, it doesn't justify them going to kill innocent people. But the reason why I understand Israel more is because Israel is now a state of war. They didn't provoke a war. A war had already started, and casualties happening in every war.
Hidebound, they are reactionary, they are uneducated, whatever it is. And they're saying this. So it can't be true because anybody who's not like me, who am a progressive person and therefore morally pure and virtuous and good and true, anyone who's not like me is basically anyone who's not like me is right wing, and anyone who's right wing is bad and evil. Anyone who's bad and evil is right wing. Anyone who's right wing is bad and evil. And that's how it works.
I feel like it's even a weird form of the form of racism that was propagated back in the days, that people are forming groups. They are forming these pseudo groups due to they're aligning themselves with each other based on certain beliefs that the others are inferior, that the others are wrong, are evil, or bad. This is generally what was happening during people having racist beliefs, like people like the KKK. This is like people who were being trained to think that our enemies are evil, our enemies are bad, our enemies are inferior. So whatever we do, our enemies are wrong in that situation. No matter if we go and kill this black guy, the KKK used to believe we're doing a good thing, we're helping society by going to kill this random black guy who didn't do anything. This is what they're feeling like. This is what the Tyler Robinson felt like when he was killing Charlie Kirk. He thought like he was helping people. He felt like he had the moral right in that situation. And all of the people laughing at his death felt like we've killed a monster when he didn't really do anything. They felt like they had won a war when there was no war to be won in the first place.
So you can't get through. There is no fact that you can produce.
In cultish terms, they'd call it a thought-terminating cliche, where
oh, right.
Scientology would, rather than, I used to do a lot on Scientology, and that was my old podcast on the cults and things. Oh. And it was amazing to see those who have left, who say, gosh, if you spoke to me 10 years ago when I was in that cult, there was not a single thing you could have said.
Yes.
And they would say...
I also believe that these ideas are coming from, I just had the thought right now that they're coming from any attack on any religion. I feel like religions form by nature, why they form by nature, I'll leave that to you to contemplate, whether it's gods, whether it's fake gods, whatever you want to explain that with. That's your explanation. But I feel like this happens whether we like it or not. And I feel like people are forming religions without even knowing it, and they are making gods without even knowing it. Like, for example, the left making gods out of other races, making gods out of minorities, making gods out of LGBT, whatever that is, whatever they may be picking at that time, and making God out of the people in Palestine. They are forming religions and they don't even know it. I've always thought of, for example, the debate about the transsexual thing, the transgender, whatever, the transgender thing. They always say I was born in the wrong body. But scientifically, if we're ignoring any religious aspect, there's no such thing as being born in the wrong body. It's scientifically wrong to even use the term mind anymore. You can't use the term mind, you have to use the term brain. There is no difference between your brain and your mind. The mind is something philosophical. The brain is something that is tangible. It's something scientific. It's something biological. So you can say I was born in the wrong body. There is nothing to be born in. If you were born in the wrong body, you would be someone else. That's why I feel like they're forming a bit of a religious aspect to it. It's becoming a religion. That's why they have holidays. They have how can I say, they have traditions. They have sort of like things they do that we can usually align to religion. And
This person is in Scientology they say suppressive person, and it means anything they say is nonsense. So if they could sit there and prove to you that L. Ron Hubbard was a liar and Lord Xenu doesn't exist, and you would say, no, but you're a suppressive person, I won't even entertain your ideas.
Right, it's the same thing.
Must be ingrained into the human psyche.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And it's also, and it's the, sort of the herd mentality. They are in a bubble.
Like going back to the Hitler thing, Hitler probably thought the Jews, nothing they say is correct. He genuinely believed that the Jews were evil. That's what he thought. He thought they were ruining his life, they were ruining his people's lives. So he thought he was right, and so the Jews were evil. Now, this is a large part of what led to them being killed. He thought he was right, he thought he was good, and he thought they were evil.
All their social circle is in the same bubble, broadly speaking. I mean, there may be, differences. Someone's hard left, someone's soft left, someone is liberal, someone doesn't really understand or doesn't really know what they think, but they're all...
Okay, so this was largely propagated by the invention of social media networks. And social media has been a large part to causing this. That's why we're seeing it being so much more extreme in the last couple of years. It's because of social media. On social media, people form groups and they form echo chambers on the internet where they form as people who have the same beliefs, forcing each other to keep themselves in those beliefs, like validating each other. Someone comes and says something very terrible, something very wrong, then the others who have the same thought will just validate that idea for them. It's even coming back to the transgender thing. They say I need validation. They don't need correction. They don't need to be told what is actually true. They need you to just say yes to whatever they're saying. Now, this is very dangerous as well, as this will strengthen bad ideas. If I come to you and say something that is scientifically false, then say to you, you must validate that for me. We're going to make something, we're going to ruin science. We're going to go backwards in science. If I say anything that is wrong, and say that you have to affirm that, we're just lying to each other, and we're going to cause some harm.
Basically in the same ambit. They all have the same fundamental assumptions. And
so the people who don't affirm them now seem very alien to them, because they're like, oh, this guy is crazy. Everyone else has been saying yes to me. Why is this guy saying no? There must be something wrong with this guy. Instead of listening and analyzing what they're saying, they just say, this guy, bad. These guys, good.
Most fundamental assumption is that anyone doesn't think like them, like the whole herd tells itself is what is true, or their opinion, is a bad person and cannot be trusted and cannot be believed. And so this is really terrifying, because this is what I mean by the complete eclipse of reason, rationality. These are people who make a fetish of being rational. And yet this is fundamentally, totally anti-reason.
I had a a weird moment with a friend of mine who's a professor of literature, and he said to me, what was it? He'd been watching a bit of my stuff, or had an awareness of the podcast I've been doing. And he said, just listen, go easy on the calling into question academia, because that's where fascism begins. Because you're denying truth when you start attacking academia or attacking truth. And I thought he was actually, even though he was a little bit more on the woke side than me, and I respect him a lot, I thought he was joking and sort of cosplay.
Well, now, this is just a bad idea from that he was told, don't attack academia. The whole point of academia is to attack each other, so that we can come to a consensus on what is actually true. We have to disagree. That's the whole point of academia. If we don't have debates, if we kill people, if we hurt people, if we alienate people for having different opinions, it's not academia. It's just us just repeating the same things. It's us just affirming each other's mistakes. So if Einstein hadn't come and challenged Newton's ideas, then we would still be using Newton's system to this day. It would still be fact. But we know that they are not perfectly true. They were not perfectly wrong, but we know that they were not perfectly true. They've been adjusted to meet the new standards. Now we know what the actual truth is.
Being one of these, everything's fascist. But I said, but surely, academia has done all it can over the last 20, 30 years to dismantle truth. So that's why I'm attacking academia.
Correct.
How frustrating is that? We can't get through to these people.
Correct.
They write articles and essays, dissertations about truth not being real, and then have a go at us if we criticize because we're attacking truth.
Yes.
Oh my God.
AI can build an...
Okay, that was a pretty good chat. I think they were touching on some very important topics. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I agreed with her 90%. I would say 100% of the time. She was right on most of the topics. And please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe for more videos. I'm the Med Scientist. Thank you.